Hey, welcome back. We were just touching NCAA Super Regionals, and you wanted to add, and then we'll go back to Major League Baseball. But noon in Gainesville, and everyone, how can you possibly schedule a Super Regional game at noon when it's 135 degrees? Okay, and my combat, is that what you were about to say? Or
well, I kind of get that because of the weather delays that are possible.
how can you possibly schedule a softball or baseball tournament in May or June in Gainesville?
It's hard. I mean, you got to play around them. We saw that from the storms. Obviously, that's going to take a place, and I understand maybe starting at 12 so you give yourself some lead time. The one I question is the Monday, if necessary, game, which isn't slated to start until 8:30. I mean, you're not. The earliest you're going to start is 8:30. If it rains, you get another game like we had, whatever night it was, Monday night.
Well, they're making
2:30 in the morning when you're done.
They're making it a point on Friday night. There are two super regionals. Four of the teams are playing, and one of them I want to say is the Stanford one. So you've got Vandy and Mississippi State playing probably 7 o'clock at night.
Yes.
In Nashville, and you've got the one in Cal State Fullerton going at
later
10:30, 11 o'clock, and they're spaced. The next day it's Saturday. You can play all four of them at the same time. The next day is Sunday. You got all four of them spread out, and then on Monday you got two games, and you want one of them at a decent time, because what they are trying to do is broadcast, have none of them over conflict, and then you can watch the entire.
But they all did. I mean, if you watch this weekend, every single one of them had a rain delay, or some kind of weather delay, and they were all against each other. You ended up, if you didn't have
there were 16 tournaments going on, and there was each one was playing 3 games or 2 games in a day. You have to now.
Thank you NCAA for scheduling.
On the Super Regionals, you have one game.
Yeah.
Every day.
One day.
And you only have 4.
Why you don't have your best game between the number 1 draft pick, the number 18 draft pick, and the number 5 draft pick in this draft? The only time you're going to have that in recent memory, and you don't have that game as the primetime game, you've missed an opportunity to have some really good baseball and talk about it. So
that's a good one.
Anyway, we'll see what happens.
So let's go there, by the way. The number 1 pick, Casey Mize, Auburn. And they were saying it all along. Okay, and just a plug for my son's former little baseball group, FTB, 9 years in a row where they've had a first-round draft pick.
That's not a bad deal, not a bad gig. I mean, you know, Florida is a baseball-rich talent pool anyway, and they're a really good program. So
they had that class of 2015 FTB team that played in the summer of 2014. Had Jonathan India, had Bo Bichette. They're infield. And I was looking at that. 3 of them got drafted a few years ago, but that infield wound up with 3 number 1 picks and a not number 1, but 3 first rounders and 1 second rounder.
Yeah. Not a bad infield. Not a bad infield. So Tony, you weren't really that good a coach. You just had really good talent. Played on those teams. Indy also played on a team out of Southern California as well.
Yeah, well, what a lot of those guys do is they'll go up to Atlanta at the Perfect Game headquarters or whatever, and their team is playing, and then the following week it might be a different age bracket or whatever, and you know what, you're a junior, but our seniors are playing at this time, can you stick around and play with us? And you want to play at that level, so you wind up sticking around an extra week and just play with a different team. So you know, I was reading somewhere a while back, Bryce Harper, when he was 12 years old, and 12-year-olds, you have that tournament up in Cooperstown that all the kids go to. In a 14-week period, he spent 9 weeks at Cooperstown playing with but you're basically spending the summer there playing against the best 12-year-old no, because it's a one age group.
Oh, okay.
So he's with a different team every time. Hey, can you stick around and play with us? And 90 teams would come in, and he'd be on one of them in the next 2 weeks. And you know, and they're picking him up, but he's basically playing against the best 12-year-old competition the entire summer.
That was a nice investment by his parents. I hope he rewarded them. I'm sure he did.
Did you see the numbers on him?
He's hitting the ball. All right, let's talk about Major League Baseball.
He is hitting 200, and he has walked like 3 times in the last 3 weeks after walking 20-something times in the first month of the season. He is just plummeting. I mean, Bryce Harper's in a huge slump. I think the Nationals are another big reason why you guys as Braves are are hanging in there.
Yeah, well, they certainly are not playing well. I mean, but they're 7-3 over the last 10 games.
Yeah.
So that means they've played well enough to win. I mean, all of them. Philly's the only one that took a slide in the last 10. The Braves 6-4.
Why don't you have the Marlins there listed?
They're out of it.
They're out of it?
Yeah,
Already?
done.
It's only May.
They're
It's
done.
June.
They're done.
June.
It's June. They're done. They're out of it. I'm sorry to say.
Thanks, Jeter.
Thank you, Derek Jeter.
Appreciate that, Jeter. Appreciate you making them into a winner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe they'll be in there a few years from now when
Maybe. Yeah.
when all those draft picks he got for
Yeah.
his trades.
For
come.
So look at these first place teams in the National League. Last 10.
6-4, 6-4, 6-4.
Yeah.
Okay. So are they good?
Well, they're good enough.
Good
barely.
enough.
What if they hosted their regional this weekend and they wind up losing those 4 games right there?
Well, what if they did? Then
My whole point in baseball, you have a team
all
that
right,
goes 19
we're going to
and
go back
11.
there, but here's the deal:
19
71% of regionals are won by the 1 seed over history. 71%. This year, 50%.
Yeah.
So they missed them this year. That's all I'm saying is they missed them this year. Normally it would be 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And when it happens to be 90,
Then yeah, they got it all right that year.
okay.
Like
So
what
do
they
you
did for
think
WCS.
when 71% of teams regional first round picks win, do you think that means that every year it's 71%, 71%?
No, it fluctuates, but you get
this,
the point.
you have this, you have this, you have
You
this,
get-
you
I
have
get
this,
the
you have
point.
this, and you average right there.
Right, but 50-50 is not a good look. That's just all I'm saying. 50-50 is not a good look. It looks like you missed on some of them if you're the selection committee. Whatever criteria you used, you can't get it always right. That's just the thing it looks like.
Who won the World Series? I say the Astros.
They did.
I think that's what
They lost. I heard they lost like 60 games last year.
It's different in the major league. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
60 games. Yeah.
Didn't they?
Stop it. Stop. How many did they win?
100.
Okay. All right. So they won 3/4 of their games, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then stop it.
70%.
You know what? If you look at Ole Miss and you look at Georgia, they won 3/4 of their games.
Not this weekend. They didn't.
No, they didn't. And
Bad time
the
to lose,
Astros
too.
didn't lose 3/4 of their games in September.
Bad time to lose too.
That's
There's
my
a good
point.
time and a
That's
bad
my
time.
point.
I
Baseball
get it.
is that way.
I get it, but I still
Baseball is
don't
that
like that all you base it on. It seems that all you base it on are the raw numbers rather than looking at the way teams are playing down the stretch as well. That should factor into it. You have a committee that does that. They should have some freedom to seed people in
The
different
Marlins
ways.
have won 2 World Series
Yeah.
out of Miami, which is one more than the city of Atlanta has won, by the way. But
Yeah, that's true.
what? But I
We're long suffering.
yeah. But I want you to. But my point being, both times the Marlins have won World Series, they were the wild card team. Boy, somebody seeded those playoffs wrong.
No, it's different.
That's different. That's different.
My
different.
point. It's
different.
baseball.
It's different. Sorry.
It's-
Anyway, is it different with softball because they got it right for chalk all the way
whole
through?
Well, not really, because it
Well,
was
yeah,
the
until
5
the
and
final.
6 seed were
Yeah.
in the
To the
championship.
final one. Yep. And that happens. In one game, you can lose. Anybody can lose one game. I get that, and it's all right.
No, if you lose one game, guess what?
You're
still
playing in it, but you lose 2 the next time.
There you have
So
it.
when you,
That's
but
what
the people who lose
double
the first,
elimination
you know how
is.
long it's been since a 30-game series has gone to 3 games in the Women's College World Series?
A long time.
Long time. Like it hadn't happened. So there you
Really?
go. I think they only had it 1 year.
Us in
first year.
Michigan did, didn't we?
No. We didn't play Michigan.
We played Michigan, didn't we?
No, we played Washington and Arizona State, and
We lost to Arizona State.
we lost to Washington.
We won, and we lost to Washington. When we beat Michigan,
It was game 2.
it was 2 out of 3.
Okay. All right,
think-
let's go back to Major League Baseball. Here we go. Major League Baseball.
Major
Your
League
question.
Baseball.
Well,
You
no,
have a question.
the Yankees are obviously one game back. They're playing really good baseball, and Gary Sanchez is hitting just 200. He's got 12 home runs, 35 RBIs. You got Austin Roman behind him hitting 373 with 4 home runs, and he's got 19. When you get to the majors as opposed to college, what value to put on a guy who maybe can? Is there other things you need to look at for a catcher than just what he brings to the plate?
Yeah, I mean, and I was thinking about what you're saying. The Marlins, I remember when one of the years I was with the Marlins, we had a backup catcher named Mike Redmond.
Sure.
Everyone knows him. He
Yeah,
wound up
Redmond.
managing the Marlins and everything like that. Red hit 350, 360 back-to-back seasons.
Wow,
Isn't that really good?
that's really good.
Red would play against lefties every now and then. But whenever it was a lefty, they would sit the catcher, and that would be his time, and he hit him. Now, was he an everyday catcher? No.
No.
he was a good backup catcher. They found his role, and they found the right times to rest Charles Johnson, Greg Zahn, or whatever. The World Series team, Charles Johnson was the catcher.
Sure.
Greg Zahn was the backup. He was a switch hitter, and you picked those times when you want to do it. Oftentimes, and I don't know what it is, and tell me about hitting in the day and night. When did you
we didn't play many night games, so we didn't have lights on our stadium. I love night games.
Did you?
I love night games.
See, night games, I'll give you the one. I remember, and I don't know the exact stat, but I remember something to the effect. In Dwight Gooden's first 50 games, he only lost like 9.
Yeah, it was
remember, he was like 40. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah.
But no, he was sure a Hall of Famer. And out of all the games he lost, only one was a night game. He only lost day games. Dwight Gooden pitching at night was just unhittable.
Lights out.
The first 3 years of his career.
Yeah.
And hitters usually want day games. Just the natural light and whatever.
Yeah, it's obviously better. I mean,
when are backup catchers often playing?
Day games after night games.
Sunday day games.
Right.
You also have the fact of, it's different. Can you manage a pitching staff? Can you call all the games? Do you do the work to be ready to know the batters and to know your pitchers, and how do you receive the pitchers? Because sometimes it's about how you catch as much as if you hit. That's a bonus for most people.
Right.
Most major league teams is how do you catch? How do you manage your pitching staff? Can you call the games? Are you a good defensive catcher? And if you hit a little bit, that's a bonus. If you hit a lot, then you're a Hall of Famer.
Because Gary Sanchez obviously is a great young player. I mean, he's just having not his best year, but he still had 18 home runs.
Exactly, but he is not. But what's the rap on him? He's a bad catcher.
Right.
He's not a good catcher.
Well, if you're not a good catcher, then the other guy must be even a worse catcher, or he would be playing, or Sanchez is making more money.
Or maybe the Yankees are more interested in hitting the ball out of the yard.
Which they do very well.
Maybe. But they're right behind it.
But I'll give you another case right now, okay? The Houston Astros last week, we were sitting down saying, wow, they're finally making their move and everything. Well, guess what? They go 3-7. Mm-hmm. They've dropped into second place.
Yep.
And who's in first place in that division?
Seattle!
At 8-2, they're tearing it up. Mike Zunino, who is now starting to hit. I mean, he's one of the offensive leaders for that team and everything like that. Why is he catching with Seattle, and why did he start catching and finally get accustomed to being able to get his swing down? Mm-hmm. Because he was such a good receiver. Yeah. That's what they wanted. I don't care what you hit, but what it did, what it did? It gave him ABs.
And it gave him a chance. You gave him a chance. And that's what you want a lot of times with catchers. If you can throw it, if you can catch it, and you can manage your staff, then you're going to get to stay on the squads. And then if you work at your hitting, then you get better at it. And if you don't, you stay a minor league guy, and you make a career out of being a minor league catcher. And then eventually you become a manager.
And you do. That's what they do.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. And I'll give you another case in point in the college aspects. I remember 4 years ago, the Gators wound up signing the top 2 catchers, the top 2 high school catchers in the country. J.J. Schwartz was the offensive guy. Mike Rivera was the receiving guy. Guess who wound up getting more of the playing time?
Rivera.
And guess whose bat came around there his junior year, and he wound up getting drafted. Immediately. And J.J. Schwartz came back as a senior, which we were talking about that at the beginning of the year. Remember why? Because you go 31, and he sits there and he told them, "Come catch one more year, and you'll be able to make a lot more money." And J.J. Schwartz goes in the 8th round. Profitable year for him, coming back for one more year.
31 round? Yeah. I thought you meant 31th overall pick. I'm like, no. 31 rounds? Yeah.
He went in the 8th. He went in the 8th round. Last year, 31st round.
Exactly. He got to show his catching ability because Rivera was ahead of him and didn't get to catch. And people just hadn't seen him.
And the bat came around a little bit more this year than it did last year.
Relax. I'm telling you what. I can't believe we're almost out of time. But we go through this with people that I've seen. Draft guys who are juniors, draft eligible, struggle most of the time. Their sophomore year is better than their junior year because they're trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark to get noticed. India is one of the rare exceptions, and he did hit the ball out of the ballpark and got noticed and got drafted 5th. All right? Everybody's trying to have a year like Jonathan India, but most people end up pressing and don't have as good a years.
Their junior year.
In college softball, it's the same way their senior year because it's their last year. They don't get drafted. So they're pressing, trying to finish everything off well, and they struggle. And then you get to the postseason, just like Kaylee Kvistad, who had a horrible year, had a great World Series. Why? Because it's over. I mean, you know, it's like, okay, this is it. I've gotten to the thing that's my last thing. Now I can just relax and play the game that I've been playing since I was 5 years old. And so I think that happens with a lot of guys. And when they get to the big leagues, I think that happens as well, too. The guys get there the first time, they struggle because, like, oh, my God, I'm in the big leagues. And then if they can stay long enough, they figure it out. It's like, it's just a game. It's the same game we've been playing since we were 5. You go out and throw the ball, you hit the ball. Yeah, they throw it harder, and yeah, I hit it harder. But other than that, it's the same game. You played as T-ball, right? Same bases are in the same basic layout, different distances. Fences are a little different, but it's still the same game, playing against the same people you've always played against. If you were better than everybody else, you're probably going to be better than most people in the pros when you get there if you work harder. So that's what it is. So
hey, it was short time today. We covered some stuff. We got on a little bit of a rant with
did with softball. I mean, with stuff.
baseball,
so it's okay,
the
but we'll get there, and you guys get a chance. Watch the Super Regionals. Watch some baseball.
Hey, Red Sox or Yankees? I'm gonna ask you guys this every week.
I'm gonna go.
You're still with the Yankees.
I'm still with the Yankees. Yankees gonna make a run.
I think Yankees gonna make a run. I think they're gonna get some pitching.
You're flopping.
Well, I know.
I was the only Red Sox. Wasn't
No, you're the only Red Sox?
I think I said Yankees. I think they're going to make a run. I think they're going to get some relief pitching.
All right.
What do you think? Let us know.
We'll see. We'll see you guys later. Play ball.